Hey everybody, so today I want to share a story about the time that I lost all hope at Coast Guard Boot Camp. Now, before I share the story, I just want to say, don't worry, I'm not saying that you're going to break down and lose all hope and not make it through boot camp. But I do believe that for most people, they're going to experience a moment of low point, right? I mean, by definition, there has to be a low point, right? There's got to be a high point too. So depending on how much of a rock star you are, your low point might not be that bad. But for us mere mortals like myself, it can get pretty rough at times. And I did have a moment that still sticks out in my memory. And I just wanted to share it because I thought maybe it would help somebody. So you've heard me talk a lot about attention to detail on this channel. And I even have a short video about slashing your zeros. And in fact, I actually think that's the most viewed video that I've made, which I actually think is pretty cool because slashing your zeros is incredibly important. Now, for those of you who don't know, I was a yeoman in boot camp. I'm an MST, so don't get that confused. I'm not a yeoman now, but I was a yeoman in boot camp. You have jobs while you're at basic training. And coming from that perspective, as a yeoman, I especially see the importance of attention to detail. As a yeoman, you are in charge of keeping account for everybody in the company where they are. So anytime someone is signed out or signed in, anytime somebody is not present, they need to be signed out and they need to have listed on the sign out log where they are. So we have to have accountability. The yeomans are the ones that maintain that log. So if a CC asks us where somebody is and we say, oh, they're at medical, and they're not signed out on the log, we're the ones that are paying for that. And it was usually pretty severe. And so what would happen is recruits would not slash their zeros. That was a big one. And we would pay for that. They would not sign out. Or they would sign out, but they wouldn't put the time or the location. We would pay for that. There was a lot of things that were out of our control, and that could get very frustrating. A big part of that learning experience for me was learning to communicate what's important and stressing why it's important to the team. Anyway, the point of this story, there was such an incident with the sign-in, sign-out log that it wasn't getting filled out properly. And the CC called us out to the quarterdeck, showed us the book, and basically had us get down and start pushing. That part in and of itself was to be expected, but he took the login book and he, well, first off, he started playing the song Sober by Tool. If you know that song, it's a pretty old song now, but that song still brings back memories to this day. So anyway, he drops the book and he puts on this song by Tool. And I still remember it vividly like it was yesterday. As the book drops to the ground, the opening notes to the song play. It's a great song. If you know the song, it's a great song. If you don't, listen to it and then picture yourself in this story. So the opening notes to that song is playing as I watch this logbook drop to the ground right in front of me, right in front of my face as I'm doing push-ups. And he takes some kind of a stick. I don't remember what it was. It's like a pole of some kind. And he just starts destroying the book, basically. He just starts pounding it, jabbing it in multiple times, destroying this book that we've been maintaining for weeks, that has been the end-all be-all of our lives as yeomen at Coast Guard Boot Camp, Cape May, New Jersey. And he kicks it open with his foot, starts stomping down on the pages, just shredding it up, right in front of us, again, right in front of my face as I'm doing push-ups. And I had never felt more hopeless, depressed, and just lost as I did in that moment. And the ironic thing was, I remember the line playing from the song. It goes something like, I will find a center in you, I will chew it up and leave, I will work to elevate you just enough to bring you down. And anyway, the whole song, it played through the whole song, through that whole endeavor, and just was incredible how much I identified with the words in that song, and the music seemed so hopeless and bleak. And this was like maybe week 3, somewhere around there. So we had a long way to go. The amount of time we still had left at Cape May, paired with the bleak message of that song and the music, and just the mental image of watching our book get destroyed like that book that was everything to us, was our whole job. It really felt bad. You go through, when you make it through that first week at Cape May, the CCs don't start treating you nicely, but you at least start to get a routine. You start to feel like you're getting in your zone. And so when that happened, it felt like all that was erased, and I was back to just being first day recruit, not knowing what the hell I was doing. And it was very demoralizing. And I came back from that, and the other yeoman and I, we worked together to figure out how are we going to prevent this from happening again. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on how we did that, because I think it's important for me to preserve the integrity of at least some of the mystery of Cape May. And a lot of it is just having to find solutions, because the solution that you might find in that situation might be different than what we did, but that doesn't mean that it's any better or worse. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story. I hadn't thought about it in years, but I heard that song the other day by Tool, and it got me to thinking about it, and I thought it would be a good story to share. So hopefully it's something to just kind of put in perspective and kind of keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to go into Cape May thinking like, oh, I'm going to have a moment where I break down and lose all hope, but at least if you know that that's a thing that can happen and that you can come back from it and still succeed and thrive, it won't tear you down as badly when it does happen. So anyway, hope that story was interesting to you, and I'll be checking in again soon.